What's up, Chuck fam? I'm Diamond and I'm back with another video. I know I'm looking a little crazy right now, but there's a whole story behind it. So I told you guys in a previous video that I was completely over this pregnancy and I was gonna try the Midwife's Brew this weekend. I did that, went to the hospital, and now I'm back home. If you're interested in hearing my story and how it worked out for me, then stay tuned. So for some of you guys who may not know what the Midwife Brew is, it's a little concoction that's supposed to send you into labor. Most people recommend taking it by like not before 37 weeks. So I'm 37 in 4 days, so I decided to take it yesterday. So what it is lemon verbena tea, apricot juice, castor oil, and almond butter. Apricot juice was sold out, which I said in another video, so I ended up not using that. I did buy pineapple juice instead, but I didn't use that either. If you look at a lot of the reviews, people say like, oh, it's so nasty, it took me a long time to down it. So what I did is I'm like, okay, well, I'll use ice cream, something that I know will kind of mask the taste. So me and my husband were on our way home last night and we're like, okay, we're gonna do this. So we went and grabbed, we didn't want to go in anywhere, so we went to the drive-thru at McDonald's and we were gonna get a milkshake. So their milkshake machine was down like always. So I just ended up getting a caramel frappe, which actually was really delicious in the drink. So I blended up the ingredients like exactly how they say they're supposed to be. And then I added the caramel frappe and I drank it in the 30-minute time frame that they say that you're supposed to. So I drank it, got it all down, and I actually chased mine with a lemon because it had a really bad aftertaste. But yeah. So I drank it at 6:30. I finished it. They said you're supposed to drink it on an empty stomach so that you don't throw it back up. I drank it and I put my kids to bed and I went to lay down. By 8:30, I started feeling something. Like I was having contractions, and a lot of the videos that I watch that people that take castor oil, I see like their labor goes really, really fast. So I was kind of scared to, sit at home and wait and labor at home because I didn't know how fast I was going to progress. I didn't want to have a baby in the car or at home. Yeah. So by the time my contractions were about maybe 3 to 5 minutes apart, they were getting like really, really strong. I had everything packed, so I called my mother-in-law. I'm like, okay, it's time. Come and get the kids, and then we're going to the hospital. So we ended up getting to the hospital around 11 p.m. What's up, Chuck fam? So we're on the way to the hospital. I've been having contractions for the last 3 hours. Anywhere from like 5 to 3 minutes apart. So yeah, we think it's time. Stay tuned. So we get there and they're like, oh, you guys have to wait a little bit. We don't have a room yet. So I'm like, okay, I don't have a problem with waiting. So we waited about 30 minutes in the waiting room. Nobody else was in there. And then the lady who was working was really, really nice. So they finally got us back to a room, and they put me on a monitor. And just like I thought, my contractions were coming like back to back to back. So yeah, the contractions were super strong, but I was able to talk through them. I was able to breathe through them, and yeah, I was just taking it like a champ. So they came and they're like, okay, well, we spoke to your doctor and she wants us to get you on fluids and we're gonna check you. So she checked me and she's like, oh, you're only 1 centimeter dilated. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right, because when I went to my last doctor's appointment, they told me that I was 2.5 centimeters. So did I regress? But yeah, she said I was 1 centimeter dilated, and she said she did see the contractions and the baby looked good. So she was gonna let me wait for 2 hours while the liquids were in their course. So that's what we did. I tried to sleep. Jeff slept. I'll insert a video right here. Yeah. So when those 2 hours was up, she came in, she checked on me, and she's like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Okay, the pain is getting to a point where I can't take it anymore. I need some medicine." And she's like, "All right, I'm gonna call your doctor and see what we can give you." So she came back really fast, and she gave me something that I took oral. I didn't even bother to ask what it was, but it did the trick, and I was able to actually sleep for maybe an hour and a half before I started feeling my contractions again. So she comes back in and she's like, "Oh, I have to check you again. Let's see how much you progress." So she checks me, and I'm still at a 1. So I'm like, "Okay, this isn't right." So the problem that I had with the Midwife Brew is it gave me the contractions, but my contractions weren't causing me to dilate. So they couldn't send me home having those kind of contractions. So what they did is they gave me something to make the contractions stop. I really didn't want it. Obviously, I wanted to keep my labor progressing, but she was basically saying like being in the hospital right now is different because of the pandemic. Like sometimes they don't have rooms, sometimes they have a lot of people waiting because of the COVID. So they basically take priority first, and I wasn't that if they can stop my contractions. So eventually they ended up stopping my contractions and now I'm back home. Yeah. So did the Midwife Brew work for me? I would say yes and no. It gave me the contractions that I needed to actually be sent to labor and delivery, but they weren't strong enough for me to contract. Somebody said that I probably should have used more castor oil, but that drink was hard to go down. And they said that if you use 2 tablespoons, that is safe for baby. Anything over that, you should talk to your physician or your doctor. And I just wanted to be on the safe side, so I only used 2. But the plan is we're going back to the hospital because I'm trying to have a baby this weekend. So I'm going to do some walking. I'm going to bounce on my yoga ball. I'm going to go up and down the stairs. I'm going to eat a lot of fruit. And then I just might try this Midwife Brew one more time. Really, Kimmy? One more time because it wasn't terrible to swallow. And yeah, it did what it was supposed to do. I just needed a little extra kick. So if I can get that this time, I probably wait and labor a little bit at home because we're only 15 minutes from the hospital. So yeah, I'll labor at home until I just can't take it anymore, and then hopefully we have a baby this weekend. That's the plan. Just updating you guys. Like we are 100% ready for this baby. I'm not waiting any longer. Yeah. I told the nurse like you'll see us soon, and she's like, "Okay, girl." So yeah, that was my experience with the Midwife Brew. It didn't go as planned, but it did work. Yeah. So if you had anything similar to this, drop a comment below and tell me what your experience was. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.